Hello and welcome back, all you Star Wars fans, to the Brew Wizards January Star Wars Destiny tournament held in Oshawa, Ontario. On the left, we've got Jamieson, who you recall from round one, played the E.Vader Tusken Raider deck versus Adam's Admiral Ackbar and two hired guns. So this is a pretty interesting matchup here. If you recall from looking at the each of the die that are included with these characters, you will notice that on the left we have a lot of melee on the part of Jamieson versus the ranged focus of the deck on the right being piloted by Adam. So this should be an interesting matchup here, figuring out which players chose to run dodge, or what their, I guess, major form of mitigation is, or control for the other opponent rather. So they are checking to see which battlefield is going to be used. We've got Mos Eisley Spaceport, I believe, at the top, and the Imperial Armory. Just making stuff up right now. So let's see what they decide to use. It looks like Adam won this here with a roll of 2, 4, 5, 6. And just as a note, it looked like Jameson kept all 5 of his hand, whereas Adam did mulligan what looked to be everything and wasn't too happy with what he got. And here we go. He decides to take the Imperial Armory. Forgot to put that up on screen for you guys, but that lets you put an upgrade into play from your hand, reducing the cost by 1. So just like last round, Jameson opens up with a Sith Holocron on Vader, and I messed up the Sith Holocron special last game when I was making up scenarios. Sith Holocron can only be used on a blue upgrade, so it cannot be used for Kylo Ren's lightsaber, which I, for whatever reason, always assumed to be blue. So we've got the activation by Adam here on the first hired gun, rolling him a nice blank.
Feel free to throw away your card.
And the annoying Vader ability forcing Adam to chuck a card as Vader activates here into a modified +1 resource, I believe, and a clean space buck on Vader, as well as a blank. So in comes Ackbar with the 2 focus and 1 range. And remember that Ackbar's ability, for those of you who may have not have had a chance to read it, is as soon as your opponent empties their hand, they are forced to deal 2 damage to one of their characters. However, it can be blocked by shield. So we've got the electroshock getting rid of that 2 focus from Ackbar, as Adam has now activated all 3 characters and only has 1 range and 2 blanks to show for it. So, as he said, off to a solid start. So we will see what options Jameson has here. Spending some money to feel some anger. So he plays Feel Your Anger to get rid of the blank and the ranged 1. And that electroshock play is a good one. That means that now Jameson's unable to claim that modified 1 resource off of the Sith Holocron. Not only that, but it removes a very powerful character die in Vader, effectively reducing the options that Jameson has. So Jameson activated into a 1 range on the Tusken Raider, followed up by Adam's Play the Odds, which is exhaust the support to reroll a yellow die. If that die lands on a resource side, you immediately claim a resource, and then you're able to resolve that resource die and effectively gain 2 space dollars off of the 1 activation, which is pretty sweet, or off of the 1 die rather. And the first damage is dealt of the round. Tusken Raider has had enough, and he's pew-pewing over at the hired gun there, who has rerolled into a blank again. So Jamieson, did he say he claimed?
don't see anything.
He did.
I just don't think it's
So he claimed he had nothing to play, unfortunately. And we move into round 2. So as it stands, the only damage that was dealt was the 1 range to the hired gun at the top of your screen. But he's still got a lot of health left to do some things with. So both players collect their money. Jamieson's money is off screen, but we know that he has 2 credits. This is not Netrunner. He has 2 resources, aka space bucks. He spent 1 for Feel Your Anger and 1 on Electroshock, if I'm not mistaken, and was unable to resolve those resources because of Adam's annoyingness. So keep in mind that we've got Bind All Things at the top of the screen, which reduces the cost by 1 of an upgrade, a blue upgrade, I believe. I don't think it works for supports. Game of Thrones fans, it's very similar to the in-house reducers of every house/faction.
What are you doing here?
And here goes the hired gun. He has 1 resource rolled on him, which is very important for this deck. Obviously, being a hired gun, they need to get paid or else they're not shooting at anybody. Hired guns are not your friend. They don't believe in helping you out for free.
Resolving a die with a card. Can you resolve modifiers?
I don't think you can tack anything onto them, but I don't know.
No, not if it says a die.
It just says A. It just says A. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Says resolve one of your dice. One of your dice.
Yeah.
So
And so these guys are helping the table out next to them with some rules disputes.
Because it'd be the same for like, you know, Gaffy Stick. It just says like take away one of your melees to do 3, right? But you could take away a melee that would be a modifier to guarantee 3.
That's exactly. Yeah. But if it says a die, it's always ever the
Or
one.
like Kylo's that pass 2 for 1.
Yeah.
It's like, a buck. You're not angry enough? Now you gotta have money too, huh? What will you do?
Oh, there's so much stuff in my hand. I just don't even know.
All right, so Vader is activated.
Black.
Millennium Falcon has been tossed.
You did the thing?
I did the thing.
Threw away a falcon?
$5.
The $5 Falcon when you've got to pay for your hired guns. Probably an unlikely play. So we've got the Sith Holocron special, $1 on Vader, and a shield as well. Adam will probably look to get rid of one of those character dice again, if he can spare it. So in comes Ackbar,
Squiddy fat backs.
and the Catfish has rolled 1 range and a blank. Adam has seen a lot of blanks this game. For only 2 rounds, it is unbelievable how many blanks he's stared down.
Be all Sithy up in here.
So here goes a Sith Holocron to toss in a force throw.
And I will pay the one to roll it in.
And Jamieson does have the money to roll it in. His money's off screen here, so it's a little bit difficult. And he rolls a force throw special, so he can throw that dollar in the face of hired gun if he feels like it.
So I will keep rolling with that special. I think we got 1 store 8. Yep.
And he can technically resolve that special right now, chaining it off the resolution of the
Yeah, you know what? I'll hold on to it.
Sith Holocron special. So he could if he wanted to. Decides to hold it, maybe hoping that Adam will roll something a little bit higher than a 1, so that he can deal some extra damage with that force throw.
And take a one.
And as I'm recording this, I'm realizing that it is possible for me to slide the frame down a little bit. So as you guys watch this, I'm hoping that his resources and that it binds all things will be on screen for you. But as it stands for me right now, I can't really see it. So my apologies in advance for that. So here comes Sith Holocron again, back in action, tossed onto the Tusken Raider as Adam throws a jetpack on his hired gun. So the unnamed characters are doing big things right now. And there's a modified resource as well as another shield. So Jameson setting on 2 fresh characters with no damage, 1 resource, the Force Throw special, 2 shields, and a modified resource as well. To Adam's blank and 1 range damage. So he elects to pass. You don't want to give anything for your opponent to force throw at you.
I'm gonna cash in space box.
So he elects to take his money and force Adam's hand again. Try to get him to make a decision, knowing that now one of Vader's character die are out of the field of play.
We'll scramble your die.
And we've got the scramble play, so force your opponent to reroll all of their dice.
Yep.
Try to get rid of that force throw special, and that
That's a
was
scramble.
amazing.
Oh, I'm making an omelet.
That was
2 blanks. Adam says he's making an omelet with that scramble.
flat out amazing.
I know you can't do that again.
So 2 blanks in his shield. Unbelievable
It
play.
wasn't
Great
like-
luck.
It wasn't like he'd like taken a whole like the worst scramble is like, oh, I've constructed this perfect time roll. Like he's got no money. What can he do about it? Like you could just try to roll that. Actually, it's your turn.
All right, so I will throw away my training and
So
scramble
Jameson
myself.
tosses force training away and re-rolls his dice
And that's
to hit
marginally better.
3 melee on the Tusken Raider. 1 disrupt on the Force Thrower looks like, and a blank on Vader. To now a 2 ranged on the hired gun with a modified 3 in addition off of the jetpack.
Like I can't roll this guy.
And we know that Adam does have the 1 resource to pay for that hired gun.
That at least gets rid of 2 damage.
So Jameson
I'll
disrupts,
I'll do 3 to Vader.
saving himself from 2 damage, but still having to take 3 on Vader
Vader accepts.
because Ackbar will
He's a
shoot for
good sport,
free.
that Vader. Go ahead.
So do I got 1 damage.
Yes, this guy, right?
I am
So
really working
I see a resource for Jameson. He can resolve that 3 cost melee.
It's 3 over there.
And there's another 3 on the hired gun, tapping the odds,
1 space dollar.
giving him a buck, and now he can resolve that for another buck.
Yeah, I got 2.
I think that's an underrated card myself, one that I'm trying to use in a current Fin deck.
So I will
Play the odds.
spend another to force strike you for 3.
Okay.
So here we've got a 4 strike by Jameson, another 3 on the hired gun.
I'll take the buck. I don't think I can.
Both characters are now out of dice.
And I will claim.
So Jameson elects to claim, and let's see what he throws in.
Binds all things. We'll get a free immobilize.
So with It Binds All Things and the ability of claiming Imperial Armory, Immobilize comes in for free. And Vader is now getting pretty beefy.
I guess that's it. I'm not gonna bother re-rolling Ackbars. Alright. Could, but
So all characters activate and we move into round 3, if I'm not mistaken.
When it's, especially when it's that calamari, like he's only got so many.
yeah, maybe I can get the 2 focus.
Wouldn't that be nice? Alright, I'm gonna go into this closet and really focus.
Yeah. Well, think about it.
Oh,
Oh, did you go down to no cards?
I did. So
Take 2.
to be an honest man,
And good guy Jameson
Vader?
acknowledging
Oh, no,
that
you
he
choose.
went down
They
to
choose.
0 cards. So they are triggering Ackbar's ability a little late,
someone who's seen you do it. So
but
I've
just
been
goes to show you
willing
the
to
type of guys that we
discard
have
without making
playing
you
at
tell me
Brew Wizards.
Because you can do that.
Very honest players. You know, some people wouldn't
It's
go
shocking
back
how much
and
people
do that.
forget. I saw
So it's
Girl
nice to see that
Mulligan
even in
get
tournament
a
play.
Second.
Does
The
that
second
happen?
round.
during like your discard, like if I discard out and
After opponent plays or discards the last card from their hand, they choose new. Yeah, looks like it.
well, that's something. Yeah. All right, it's my turn. I have space dollars.
Yes.
Okay, so both players ready to go again. Jameson is first player, as he did claim last round.
All right.
So Immobilize is gone already. Who plays Immobilize, says Adam. And we've got a lightsaber. So Adam deciding here who he wants to activate. And goes for Ackbar, who has rolled, is that 2 resources? No, 1 discard and a resource. So it looks here like the reason why Adam was upset about that opening hand was the lack of upgrades to play. I mean, I would imagine that he has a couple cards slotted in his deck to throw on Ackbar or the other characters other than a jetpack to help get some damage out here, and it just looks like he hasn't been able to find anything except the 1 jetpack. Versus Jamieson, who's been able to just throw away cards and play things as a ruse to throw down a lightsaber afterwards, like the Immobilize that we saw. So Vader is activated. I think the Holdout Blaster was tossed. And we've got the second chance thrown down on a hired gun. Vader is sitting on what looks to be 1 shield, 1 resource from the lightsaber, 1 resource from the other Vader die, and a disrupt on the force throw. Could be making that up. Does force throw even have a disrupt? I guess we'll find out very soon. So in comes Tusken Raider with the blank and a 1 melee. Vader has not been doing much this game, really. At this point, you'd expect that Vader would have done much more damage in this aggro kind of styled deck. And so here is the one-off discard. Let's see if it hits something juicy. Backup Muscle is definitely a juicy card. Definitely a juicy card. And with no way to really recur that currently that I know of, or that I can think of off the top of my head, that is a very strong hit. Especially knowing that Jameson could afford that very easily this turn. So he tosses Feel My Anger. And he's going to go looking for some damage here. So he decides to reroll everything off of Vader. He's got the Sith Holocron special. And let's see what Vader can do. So there's 3 melee. However, it's getting flanked, so that damage is gone. Sorry, that must have been 2 melee then. Couldn't have been 3 for a flank. Just kidding. I'm thinking of Electroshock. So that was definitely a 3 from what I see anyway. And again, the disrupt. Another credit resource off of lightsaber and a blank. So Vader would prefer to just make money right now. He doesn't really care about fighting. But flank, a very good card. One that I didn't really respect too much early on when I first started playing this game. But I do find myself in a lot of situations where I have more ready characters than my opponent. And for $1 to be able to throw away one of my opponent's character die, I find flank to be a very, very good card. So Electroshock's getting tossed. I don't know if that I would do that, but I can understand why he would want to. So we've got the lightsaber special, which is 2 unblockable damage. That's a good start. Yet still, Vader chooses not to do any damage with his character die. Yes, that's right, he chose. In comes the hired gun, looking to get some pew-pew in. Little pew-pew action. That jetpack, it looks like a +3 modified. And a 1 cost, 3 range. So this could be 6 damage here if Adam's able to find the money, which we know he can with that 1 resource off of Ackbar. However, when you're staring at a disrupt across the table, it can get rather difficult. So a little slap from the Tusken Raider at the undamaged or now damaged hired gun. And there it was. So Ackbar tried to take the dollar. Vader disrupted. So now no more character dice for Vader. As Adam plays the odds, gets a buck off of play the odds, and then he can now resolve that die for another dollar. Unfortunately, the damage is now gone though because of that. So there's the 2 unblockable damage from the lightsaber special onto Admiral Ackbar. And that is the second Millennium Falcon getting tossed here, hoping for some damage. And that is not what Adam wanted. So there goes another holdout blaster. That's 2 holdout blasters, 2 Millennium Falcons gone for a blank. And we move into round 4. A very big gamble on Adam's part. Didn't really pay off for him there, unfortunately. I would have liked to see the 6 damage go straight into Vader's breathing apparatus. Not that I don't think Jamieson's a great guy or anything. I just wanted to see 6 damage pop off. Just to keep things a little interesting. So both guys considering what the next play is, what can they do. Difficult situation for Adam here. He still has all 3 characters. He knows that that the hired gun at the top of the screen, when he dies, he'll heal 5 and stay in the game because of second chance. However, his options for damage right now are very, very limited. Kylo Ren's lightsaber is now out. It is blue. Why did I think it was red? Somebody told me that it wouldn't work on Kylo's. Somebody in the comments last round, I thought, said that it wouldn't work on a Kylo Ren's lightsaber, but Kylo Ren's lightsaber is blue. I'm not crazy after all. And I do know these cards a little bit better than I thought, apparently. Or maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Who knows? But Admiral Ackbar is coming into play here. He's got the 2 focus, and a blank on that glared die. So cards getting tossed here as Vader's coming in with 2 lightsabers. And that is nice to see for the Vader player. Vader has finally decided that he wants to slap people around. So that is 2 clean melee on Vader with a modified 3, I believe, from Kylo Ren's lightsaber. And the lightsaber special again. So there goes electroshock to get rid of one of the 2 melee. But Vader can still pop off with 5. And follow up with another 2 for a total of 7 with the unblockable special of lightsaber, of generic lightsaber. And so there is 5 damage on the hired gun without a second chance, putting him at 6. And in comes backup muscle after Adam has flanked that special lightsaber die. And we've got the jetpack special, which, you know, I was waiting for that for a while. Very good way to get rid of the annoying melee, which he can pop off right now on that Tusken Raider. Get rid of the melee, give himself a shield, which he elects to do. And the Tusken Raider can now force choke. Unbelievable. And he's paying the buck to roll that in right away. And it's a big blank. So here is another resource. And so both players deciding whether or not that should be a fair roll, because it did land on the lip of that hard plastic cover. Jamieson says if he's able to place another die on top of it without it falling off, then it's legit. So the 1 resource hired gun roll stands. So there goes 1 damage into that hired gun, who's now at 7. And has now received a data pad, which can do some pretty funky things. Just sucks that it has so many blanks. I guess it would be too powerful if it didn't have 2 blanks. But that is a good card. And back comes the Sith Holocron that just jumps in and out all game. Here we go, some datapad money. And is that a disrupt on the hired gun? So lots of damage on Adam's side here. 7, 7, and 2. Gets rid of the force choke for a flamethrower. So Jameson's just chucking chucking upgrades. He doesn't care. It's crazy how he was able to find so many of his, but Adam couldn't find much of anything other than the holdouts that had to get tossed. I'm curious to know what other upgrades he's playing in his deck. But we are fortunate. He did end up at the, I guess, camera table for the next 2 rounds after this somehow. So we will get very familiar with his deck. and hopefully see it play out a little bit differently. So we've got the discard of the last card in Jamieson's hand, forcing him to take Ackbar's ability, which he chooses to put both damage on the Tusken Raider. And takes another 3 damage from the hired gun as time is called. And so this is where it gets interesting, because we were really unsure about the tiebreak rule. Myself, I'm still unsure about it. I think we ended up going with total damage done, which leaves a pretty crappy scenario for people that are trying to play mill decks. I think it should be some combination of maybe damage done and cards left in deck plus hand or something like that, just to give the mill decks some sort of opportunity to win. So at this point, Jamieson has done the most damage. So Jamieson has taken 10 and Adam has taken 12. So I believe, as it stands with the rules that we used, Jamieson wins this match at time. So let me know in the comments if you guys know of a different tiebreak scenario, or if you agree or disagree with what stands right now. I think that the one that FFG has in place, if this is the actual scenario that they use, does make it very unfair for, like we said, decks that are slower, or decks such as mill decks that don't really deal too much damage. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. Thanks again for watching, and look out for round 3 of the Brew Wizards January Star Wars Destiny tournament. As always, thank you for your support, and I hope to hear from you after the next match. Take care.